Hi, welcome to Fatmata Speaks. This is not a mid-monthly message, neither is this a monthly message or a weekly message. This message came along with the mid-monthly message, the images together, but I didn't feel like it fit together. It felt like it was like two different things coming up at the same time. So I decided to create a different video for this one. I'm just going to tell you guys what I saw and then apply it to however you feel called to. And I will apply it, well, I will interpret it in a way that I understood it. Maybe that, then apply it to your life. If it doesn't, then just leave it. It might not be for you. So I'm going to be looking down because this was a little bit long. It was a long one, okay? So the mid-monthly message ended with the feminine figure eating all of the crust that was like popping up and all that. And then the image changed completely. And then I saw a figure in a black robe. Now, black doesn't mean it's dark or anything. It's just mystery, the unknown and all that. And they seem to be carrying a light in their hand. And it was in their left hand. Right, yeah, in their left. And they were carrying it. And the light kept changing its form. First, it looked like a light. And then it became a mirror. And then it became a portal. And then it became a tunnel with a portal in it. And then it expanded. So like as it was changing its form, it was growing. It was growing. And then as soon as it became a tunnel with light in it, it expanded. It's kind of like it engulfed the whole being. And then I saw horn-like figures, like kind of like, they're not really troll because they had like three horns, like there and then one in front. And they were stepping away from that tunnel of light. And as they stepped away, I saw another figures, there was more than one, stepping forward. And they didn't have horns or anything. But in a way, they felt terrifying in a way. They felt really terrifying. And they were walking towards that tunnel. And once they got there, they tried to like suppress it with their body, with their weight. But the light kind of like screamed. And as soon as it screamed, it just pushed everything away and it broke out completely. So it wasn't contained anymore. It was out there in the open. Everything shook. The whole globe was like shaking. And the earth was kind of like falling apart. But out of it came a core. It kind of like, I don't know, do you guys know what how do you call it? Beyblade? Like the bottom kind of like is that long, like a cone that can spin around, and then the top has a bit of like, oh my god, I should have listened to my teacher in math, because then I guess I could have explained it. I would be able to explain the shape. Anyway, it looks like a cone. You know, the cone has the opening at the top, and then it kind of has like a roundness to it. And then, so imagine like two cones coming together. Kind of like. That was how it looked like. And it was very earthy. So it was made out of earth. And wait, let me see. Yeah. And then a feminine figure was holding it. Like she was the only thing that was like still standing. And the light kind of like has disappeared. Everything was now covered in dust because the artist shook. Like it shook really well. And she was holding the core, like trying to maintain it. But she wasn't at peace. In a way, she seemed very angry, to be honest. And she was just there. And then I saw Jesus. This is not the first time I've seen Jesus in my visions, okay? I saw Jesus. He was coming down. And then the feminine was like holding the bottom side of the two coins. And Jesus kind of like put his hand on the top coin. And then together they kind of like spin around a little bit. This is really odd, I know, but Yeah, I feel like someone maybe needs to hear this. They spin around a little bit, and from the spinning, the cone changed its color. It stopped just being earth-like. It became golden, filled with white light as well. And the feminine figure all of a sudden was not agitated anymore. She felt calm, not balanced, but calm, and like she healed, kind of like. That's how she felt to me. She felt like she healed through this touch. So maybe the figure Jesus wasn't really Jesus, just she was reminded of a divinity, of who she is as a person, and through that she was able to heal our wounds and able to center herself once more. That's how it felt like. And then the image shift again. It's changed, and I saw a sleeper, but like it was a particular type of sleeper. How to explain this one? I think I don't think this is universal though. You know, like wait, no, this is not universal. This is more European. Give me a minute. I'm gonna try to put an image of this particular slipper, while editing this, because I don't think I can explain it properly. But it's the kind of slipper that your toes are out, your toes are visible, and the back of your foot is visible, but like the midsection is kind of like covered. And some people use that at the swimming pool, but other people use it like normally as well. So it's hard to say this is just for swimming pool, but like people use it to take showers. I'm pretty sure of it, but is that universal again? I don't know. Anyway, I saw a slipper. I will put a picture of it. And through that slipper, I saw, let me see, I saw a masculine figure. Like I was seeing everything through the slipper, through the umbrella of the slipper, the cover of the slipper. And I saw a masculine rising, and he was like heading towards the feminine figure. He was trying to hold it, but like it didn't feel kind of like a warm embrace. It felt more like a controlling one, like to hold, to suppress, kind of like. And somehow, maybe because the feminine figure has healed, something went off. It set off something, and the masculine figure was like, honestly, everything went so fast that it went black. It really went dark for a minute. And then I saw, when the image returned, I saw the masculine figure like was hanging on a cliff. It was a waterfall cliff. It was hanging on it for his dear life. And he was calling out to the feminine figure to help him. And the feminine figure came forward. She didn't try to like pull him out of there. Instead, she kind of like knocked him at the center of his forehead, like on his third eye. And the masculine became really like enraged. It was like enraged, full rage. He was so agitated. And the feminine figure didn't like kind of care. She just stepped back. She did what she was supposed to do. And he was like just being mad. And it felt really unbalanced. And then it went dark again. It really did. And I want to get this right. Yeah, it went dark and everything was like very quiet. And then the image returned again, and I saw like the figure was like still hanging. But it felt more like it was a shell that was still hanging. It felt alive, but it wasn't moving. Like it wasn't active. It was just alive, but not really alive. And then out of it, the masculine figure came out of it. But this time they felt different. They were calm, they were balanced. I don't want to use the word healed because I don't think that's per se part of it, but it's more like they were in power, but not in the sense of like to suppress, but more like in the sense of like remembering who you are. That's how it felt like. And then he walked up to the feminine figure, and the feminine figure didn't like fight it or anything. And together, as soon as they they kind of like, were they embracing properly or were they just holding hands? As soon as they touch in a way, they moved away from the cliff. Like they left behind the shell of the masculine figure, the one that was like distorting the masculine image or whatever. Maybe it was the weight that the masculine figure was carrying that was like kind of like destroying his, wasn't maybe destroying his core, but like tainting his core. They step away from it, and then they move off, and everything felt okay. Like I said, this one is really, it's not like the usual images. That's why I put it in a separate video, because I don't know if this is per se applies to an individual, because it felt more like universal. So we all know that the feminine figure is like currently healing. Many are healing. Some of us are still in rage. Some of us have overcome, surpassed the rage phase. Some of us are still trying to find our balance. And when I say feminine figure, I mean the feminine energy itself, okay? Not feminine presenting. It could apply, but I think it's just about the energies itself, themselves. So the feminine energy is trying to heal. And by remembering who they are through either external intervention, this could be through Jesus, as per se Jesus, or maybe through finding themselves, because Jesus taught, peace, love, and reconnecting with who you are in order for you to actually gain, how do you call it? To regain, I don't want to say balance, but I guess in a way, to regain balance. And through that external help, in whatever form it takes, the feminine was able to restore balance in themselves. The feminine energy was able to restore balance in themselves and remove the distortness, the disturbance that was like in its sphere, in its space, in her space, maybe in her space, that was kind of causing the suppression from whatever external forces that was trying to dim her light. But she managed to regain her life by using her voice. Communication is very important. By using your voice, you can achieve so much more. And this goes beyond more than just, speaking. This can also come through singing, standing up for what you believe in, and expressing yourself, taking up space, letting your voice be heard in whatever manner. And sometimes screaming is literally what is needed, okay? And after she did that, she was able to recover. But the masculine figure that she was surrounded by was not yet there. They have not yet recovered. And as you see from the images, the masculine figure was not suppressed in a way. The masculine energy was not suppressed in a way that the feminine was. The feminine was like in this tunnel, had to like reshape herself in multiple portals to actually keep the light that she had from the very beginning, and through the transformation she expanded. The masculine didn't have that from these images, okay? The masculine energy kind of like was already whole, but whereas the feminine was experiencing suppression through the external forces that was like pressing down on her, the masculine was expressing suppression in a way, but it was on his skin. that I believe shows that when it's outside of you, you can point it out because you can see it. But when it's not outside of you, but like on you, you cannot differentiate which one is you. This can apply to masculine as in masculine presenting and feminine presenting, but it can also apply to various other factors. I just don't have an example at the top of my head right now. Give me a minute. Yeah. So yeah, so like when it's on your skin, you cannot see it because you cannot see the issue. If you look in the mirror and the issue looks back at you, you just think that that's who you are and that's how things are meant to be. And when, of course, push comes to shove, you're like, okay, I'm drowning, so I need help. You ask for help. The masculine figure took the first step, which was to ask for help. And because the only masculine and feminine figure out there could only ask for help from the feminine figure. Now, the feminine figure in this instant did not like try to pull him out of where from the hanging, pull him off the cliff. Okay, the feminine figure didn't do that because, first of all, it's not a responsibility to take care of the masculine in that type of way. The masculine had to save himself, but he had to save himself by remembering who he is. But he could, well, in this instance, he couldn't recall who he is because whatever he was wearing, whatever he has become, everything has mashed together. The truth of him is like kind of like buried under layers of skin, of flesh, of muscles, and all that bullshit, And the feminine figure cannot help him in any other way except by helping him to remember who he is. And I think that's what she did by waking him up, okay? By waking him up, by, knocking against his third eye, opening his soul so that he can heal from the inside and help himself. So if you want to apply it to the masculine presenting and feminine presenting, then this literally just means that men have to look at things from the inside, but they're gonna need some external help from the feminine, from healthy expression of femininity. Because if it's just the same fucked up version of femininity, then that's not helping. That's just adding flame to the fire, oil to the flame. Yeah. So it's not gonna help. So in a way, I guess the message is trying to say that if we apply it to the masculine presenting and feminine presenting, it's like in order for balance to be restored in the world, the feminine needs to remember the true expression of femininity. And by doing that, the feminine will then hold up a mirror for the masculine, because by being their true essence, the masculine will not have any other choice but to take a look at themselves. And that will be the wake-up call that they actually need to remember who they are at the core, so that they can strip off the fakeness that has been put onto them, so that they can be reunite with the feminine again, feminine presenting, and for harmony to be established in a way again, for balance to be restored. I think that's what the image is trying to say. And if we apply it to masculine and feminine men and women, it goes in that way. But to be honest, this is an honest question, right? You can tell me if I'm completely wrong. But what does it mean to be feminine? Like, to be truly, truly feminine? Because sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, I like this and this and this. Like, I like being taken care of, but I do not like being told what to do. I like creating, but I do not like to be put in a box and all that. But I, I personally cannot always tell if that's just a feminine attribute or if that's just a human attribute. You know what I mean? And I, I don't know. I feel like we don't know what it actually means to be, to put it in simple terms, to be a woman. I think we don't even know what it means to be a woman and a man, like what those things actually mean. But then again, I believe that we may be assigning too much importance to the how do you call it, to the suit that we're wearing, that we forget to look on the inside. Because on the inside we're pretty much the same, but the suit we have to adjust to it, because certain suits have certain features with it that you just have to adjust with in order to, you know, to experience the life that you came here to experience, to have the experience that you want. So in a way, the presenting the suit doesn't really matter. But if I completely take out the suit from the image, I don't know, I'm left with something incomplete, because the suit kind of plays a role in the experience. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to confuse you guys. Anyway, that was the message that I saw. But seriously, if anyone knows what it means to be feminine and what it means to be masculine, and by that I mean a healthy expression of it, not just the societal idea of it, but the actual meaning of it, that would be nice. Please share that. If you know, please share, because I would really, 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 really want to know. And that was the message. So hope you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah. Bye.